What's up, team? It's Jack and Rich here, and we're back with part 5 of the Intro to Marketing and Business Management section of the 360 Fitness Coaching Certification Program. So in this part, we are going to be talking about the back end, the logistics behind your marketing and sales system. Okay, so this is all the stuff that you have to have done beforehand, and these are the things that you're going to base your numbers on. All right, logistics and framework are very, very important to the health of your business, and this is something you just can't wing. Okay, this is not something you just like, I'll just figure it out. Okay, this is something you need to dive into to develop a system beforehand. Okay, and the businesses that we've surrounded ourselves with are the ones that have the strongest logistical system and the ones that track their numbers more than anybody else. You have to know your numbers. Your numbers will dictate whether your business is successful or not, and we're going to kind of bring up some of the numbers that are going to be dictating whether your business is successful or not, and also give you information on how to make some decisions. So, kind of a brief overview. We're going to be talking about pricing. We're going to talk about tracking. We're going to talk about bookkeeping. Boring but very, very important, guys. We're going to be talking about asking for yet another sale, and then we're going to be talking about the importance of practice, practice, practice. So logistics comes down with number 1, pricing. Take it away, buddy.
So pricing really comes down to what your profit margin is going to be. And again, for most of you that don't know what profit margin is, it's essentially how much it costs for you to supply your service versus how much it costs to use your service. So the type of money that you're generating. So when you're looking at this number, you really have to take into account a ton of different numbers that you need. So you need to know what it costs for your insurance. You need to know what it costs to use the gym facility that you have. You need to know your exterior costs as well. How much does it cost for your cell phone to get in touch with your client? How much does it cost for your internet access to be able to email your client or work through a schedule? So you have to take all of these factors and combine them into one number and figure out how much it's actually going to cost you to run your service before you even set your pricing.
Right.
With pricing, you cannot compete on price. The number one thing you'll find out is that there's always going to be a place that can drop the price lower and still be able to manage their business. We can't do that, especially if you're going to be a solo operation. You cannot try to compete on pricing. So you need to know how much it's going to cost you to run your service, but you also need to keep your goals and your personal lifestyle in mind. One of the most common things that most new business owners don't keep into account is paying themselves.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think Jack can touch on that.
Yeah, been there.
But you definitely want to make sure that you're making enough to live your lifestyle, to make sure that you're eating properly, that you're taking care of yourself, you're being able to go on vacations, you're able to afford your car payment to get to your clients before you look at anything else. Then you also have to take a look at your business goals. So do you want to open up a studio? Do you want to grow into a new avenue? And how much is that going to cost? Because if you add those numbers together, you should have a good idea of where you're sitting at for what your pricing should be as well. Right. So then you can actually have a why behind your pricing to get to where you want to be. Because again, you cannot compete on price.
Right. So I want to just branch onto that before we get into other topics. Is you need to compete and price on value and value alone. Okay. So you need to figure out what value you deliver to your clients through your services, and you need to find out a price on that. So don't figure out your price based on your competitors or just your cost of goods sold or how much your rent is or how much you think, oh, you know what, this is how much my time is worth per hour. Don't think about that. You need to price out the end result. Okay, so don't, name a price on all those little things. You put all those little things together, combine that with the end result, and then you put a price point on that value. Okay, so I want you to put a price point on how well you deliver success and results to your clients. If you are the best in the city, if you're the best trainer in the gym, if you're constantly getting your clients the best results out there and you have a huge fan base of raving fans, you better be one of the most expensive ones out there. Okay? So you need to deliver it on value and value alone. Don't compete on price or all the other crappy intangibles that a whole bunch of people are going to nickel and dime you on. Okay? Let's chat a little bit about add-ons.
So with the add-on side of things, you have to think about secondary services for your business as well. Not everyone's going to be a right fit for the personal training, semi-private training, or boot camp that you're going to be putting on.
Right.
Or you might look at branching off into different areas. So the biggest thing when it comes to add-ons is that you want to make sure that the client knows that this service is available to them.
Right.
So again, if you are a personal trainer, but you also do a meal prep business on the side, why not combine those together and have a new package that combines that personal training with the meal planning or cooking, whatever you might be doing for that side business.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that that add-on can be exclusive to that client, that you can price out for that client, and again, it matches all of your profit margins, so it's only going to extend the amount of money you're coming in and not cut into your profit margins from there.
You got it, exactly. So when it comes to add-ons, start to think about other things that you could offer your person to get them even closer to the goals faster, easier, and more effectively. Okay, so remember guys, you're doing them a service by delivering your services to them, so you owe it to them to make sure that they get the results faster, easier, and better than before. All right, let's chat about tracking. Track everything, okay?
Absolutely
everything. I have him run like 15 different binders, and they're old man, big 4-inch guys, because we track every single thing that happens inside of our business, whether we like it or not. We don't just track successes and we don't just track failures, we track operations. So every single thing that ticks, clicks, or moves inside of our business, we have a number for it, and we have a goal for it, and we have where we were, okay? And then we develop action plans based on that difference. We track everything, all right? But what we're gonna focus on to get started, guys, is the two funnels from the previous part. We have our prospect process and we have our consultation process. You should start to track those two things first and then go in farther and farther and farther, all right? So for your prospect process, you are going to be tracking every single time that you have a cold prospect, a warm prospect, an engaged prospect, a consultation, and then when they become a member. So that funnel, as it comes down, we might have 100 people here and maybe 10 turn into members. You need to know exactly how many people were at each step, at each phase, so that you can start to plan out what part of the funnel or the phase are you slack-assing on, okay? So if you have 1,000 people at the start and 0 at the bottom, somewhere in the middle, right, depending on where that number is lacking, you'll be able to find out. So track everything. Track how many fans you have on Facebook, how many emails you got last month, how many phone inquiries you got, how many walk-ins, how many people asked you about pricing, how many consultations you have, how many you closed, how many you didn't close, all of it. You need to track all of your prospects' numbers all the way through so you can find out what you're good at, what you're bad at, and where you can make some improvements. Now, the thing about a lot of businesses go on to this is like, they think that just sales happen. That does not happen, okay? Sales are a process, and that customer is going through a long process to get to you. So you need to find out what process you're missing and which ones you're doing best at and leverage it, okay? Another thing is your sales. You need to track all your sales. So I don't just mean, hey, that person signed up or not, but what did they sign up on? For how long? What type of sessions? What type of add-ons? Where did they come from? You know, even when it comes down to it, what time of the day did they sign up? What day of the week did they sign up? You need to track everything so you know your business better than anybody else. So you'll know the heartbeat of it. You can tell whether, you know, the vital signs are good and the vital signs are bad. Okay? Another thing is too, is you're not going to get every single person as a full-time member. Okay? You are going to get some objections, and that's all right. So if it's a valid objection, you need to write down what it is. Okay? So the 3 big objections of 360 Fitness are, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, and I don't have enough decision-making power. Okay? So it could be for the time, it's like, you know, I can't fit that 30 minutes in, or like it's too far to the studio, or I got 2 jobs right now, or whatever. You're going to track that, okay? And we'll also help you about objection handling in our sales course, plus in the bonus modules here. For the price, it's like, I can't afford that, right? Usually that just means that they're not finding enough value, right? And then for the third one is like, I'm not the decision maker. So whether it's, hey, I need to find if I have time off with my boss, or my husband needs to decide this, or my wife needs to decide this, or I want my kids to do it, you need to track all that, okay? And if you see a common objection, you know that you're not covering that in your sales process. So if every single time someone's like, hey, you know what, I can't afford you, I can't afford you, can't afford you, well, what do we need to do in our sales process?
We got to show more value.
You got it, right? We got to isolate that. So you need to find it. So imagine you had, you know, a leak in your garden hose in the backyard, okay? You knew that it was leaking, but you couldn't spot the leak. You're going to be there all frickin' day, fine tooth comb all the way through. But if you can see that leak, you can isolate it, you can fix it right away, and get back to business. So that's how we track our numbers. 2 more things, guys, that we track are follow-ups. Rich, rock on this.
So again, like Jack mentioned before, sales is a process. There is a funnel to it. As you mentioned, sometimes you'll get 100 people interested, 10 through the door. Out of those 10, hopefully you get about 8 out of those 10. So what happens with those other 2? You gotta follow up with them. A lot of times, again, people are looking for a solution to their problem.
Right.
However, they're not necessarily always going to be 100% ready right during that time. So you got to make sure that you follow up with that person to make sure that if they're not doing your service, that they're still working towards their goal, or that they found an alternative method to reach their goals.
Right.
So again, just showing that little bit of care can actually turn into a sale so quickly. And that's where a lot of salespeople will go wrong, is that they will not follow up, so the client doesn't think about them again after that initial consultation, and you lose that sale from a simple phone call, email, or text message.
Big time. Yeah, so a lot of salespeople and a lot of personal trainers, especially this, because they have that dirty feeling about sales, is they lose the next sale and they lose the sale next month. Okay, so just because that prospect is ready or not ready to buy from you right now doesn't mean they're not ready to buy from you tomorrow or the next day. Okay, so you just need to get those questions answered, or they need to find those answers for themselves. But in your follow-up process, you're going to deliver an amazing experience through just asking, hey, how was that consultation? Did I answer all your questions? I'd like to revisit when you told me that, hey, you didn't have enough time. I have some other alternatives for you. You're going to have that know, like, and trust factor with them. Remember that these guys are pretty good friends with you already. They've already shown you that they trust you. They already have their hand in your hand. All they need to do is maybe have a little bit more time, or to handle those objections at home. Now, a lot of our members, whether we don't have them on for full-time programs, they might come back in 30, 60, 90 days in one of our short-term programs, or maybe they find out that we offer this different service, or they join when a buddy joins. But they had a great experience with a free consultation regardless, and they knew that we followed up with them, so they had us in high regards. We didn't go any sleazy sales tactic and offered half off if you sign up right now, and then threaten that we're going to kill their dog if they don't sign up in 2 days, and all this stuff that you hear from a lot of different salespeople. You don't have to be that guy. You can assist them by it all the way through, but follow up, follow up, follow up. When Rich and I closed sales after the consultation said no, our average touch is the 7th touch. I know that's weird, but we get a hold of them in some regard 7 times after the consultation. Okay, whether that was an automatic email, whether that was a text, whether that was a phone call, whether it was a Facebook message, whether them entering a contest or a lead magnet or something like that, a lot of the times it's 7 more steps. Really, they're doing is they're just saying, I'm not ready yet, and then they enter that prospect funnel again, and they close them the second time through. Follow up, follow up, follow up, okay? Now for ad dollars, you're going to track where you're spending your advertising dollars, and find out how many clients you got that week, that month, that quarter. Taking a look at how much you spent, how much it was generating you, and you can find out whether that was a positive return on investment or ROI. Track all of your ad dollars. Whether you created a Facebook ad, or whether you put a coupon in a local mailer, or you did some radio ads, or anything else like that, you never hand out ad dollars and leave them untrackable. You take a look at your ad dollars, how many clients you signed up, ideally find out if they came from that ad in some capacity, whether you say mention this ad or a certain website or whatever, and you find out whether it was a positive ROI. All right? Next one, we're chatting about bookkeeping.
So before we go away from tracking, the only thing you need to remember is, remember it like you're a coach, right? What doesn't get tracked doesn't get measured, and if it's not getting measured, it doesn't get changed. So if you're not sure why your business is starting to go under, or you're not making money, and you don't track your numbers, there's no way you can figure out what needs to be changed for you to get to that next step. So track each and everything that you're doing, regardless of how small or how big it might seem.
That's so perfect. Perfect.
We'll go on to the next point.
Yeah, bookkeeping. Rocking on.
It's really boring, to be honest. So I personally recommend that for your bookkeeping, for your accounting needs, we didn't go to school for this. Right? We are not the experts at bookkeeping or accounting.
Yep.
So your best bet as a trainer is to not waste your time and invest in a good and reliable bookkeeper and accountant duo. Yep. So again, that kind of goes back into the networking side of things, where you can find really good connections very, very easily, and people that care about your personal needs. Because if you're going to H&R Block, they're not going to give you advice on how to save more money, how to get more money back, or they can possibly leave you out to dry when it comes time for a CARA investigation.
Yes, right.
So we want to make sure that you are being covered 100% of the way, and just like your clients, you need to go to a professional for advice. Yeah. Your clients are coming to you because they need fitness and nutrition advice. They need a coach and someone to guide them. They need a professional. Versus if they're doing it on their own, they might screw up a bunch of times, they might hurt themselves, and they might not see the results before they come in and see you, which makes the process that much harder. So it's better to do it right the first time than do it wrong 100 times and then someone have to come in, pay more money to help clean up any type of mess that you made. So invest in a bookkeeper, invest in an accountant, because they will go so far for you rather than trying to pinch the pennies and do it on your own.
Right, so don't think of bookkeeping as an expense, think of them as a savings. Big time, okay? So they are not an expense to your business, they are saving you more dollars in the end. So a good bookkeeper and a good accountant will always have a positive ROI. For every single dollar that you spend on them, they will save you too in the end. And also think about, what are you good at? Are you a good person trainer and coach, or are you a good bookkeeper? If you're saying both, we have to talk, okay? But if really when it comes down to it, where are you most leverageable in your business? Is it out on the floor training clients and making sales, or is it in the back doing Excel sheets, and gathering receipts? Think about that, guys. Put your time where you are most valuable and where you're going to make the most money for your business and make the most impact, okay? Now, that is not saying that ignorance is bliss on this. You need to do your own homework and find out, proper accounting practices and bookkeeping practices, but then still leave it to the professionals. Go ahead.
Absolutely. So the one last thing I want to touch on when it comes to bookkeepers and accountants, do not keep it in the family. Do not go to your aunt that's great at QuickBooks. Do not go through a friend that runs their own accounting company, because they will not take your business as serious as they'll take somebody else's.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, when it comes to family, they're not always going to listen to your best needs. They're just going to make it quick, easy, to the point. So again, go to a certified professional for these situations. Don't just go for the easiest, quickest option there.
Great point. Awesome. Okay, next, guys, is, okay, we just made a sale. We just did that whole prospect process. We did the whole sales process. We got a member. We made a sale. And we're going to make another one. Okay? So we are going to ask, do you want fries with that? I know it's weird when we're talking about fitness, but we are going to deliver more products and services to that brand new member within the first day and week than we are for the rest of the client life cycle. Okay? So we have identified a buyer and a warm buyer and an excited buyer and someone that is probably more keen on making changes more now than ever. They are ready, okay? They are ready for change, they are ready to try new things, and they are ready to put their trust in you, okay? So this is where you will deliver those add-on services. This is where you will talk about upgrading their program. This is where you will be taking them to the next level. Because once they get a little scratch about how amazing you are as a coach, they're going to want more, and they're going to want more, and they're going to want more. And don't think of dollars as just dollars. Dollars are trust points. So when they hand us your money, their money, it's just trust coming this way. I trust you as a consumer to deliver a product, okay, to deliver an amazing service. They're just trusting us. So when we're offering them more things, we're just saying, would you like to trust me a little bit more? Would you like to trust me a little bit more, all right? So don't feel weird and kind of like, nervous about offering all your services and all your add-ons and all your upsells right away, okay? So we do this at 360 Fitness. As soon as somebody signs up, we're like, cool, actually we need to add a little bit of conditioning, or would you like to try our shake package? Did you know that we had supplements? So there's a whole bunch of different things because that consumer is ready to buy and they fully trust you. Now this is your chance to wow them, show them what you have, and if they say no, that's totally cool. Now they know about your products, so now next time around they'll ask you about them.
Now touching on that in a different light, you want to make sure that you're also thinking about the next package that they're going to be selling them as well. So you want to remember, you're not signing up, your client's not signing up for a lifelong package with you. Unless you're doing that, in which case, send us a message. Yeah. We want to know how you pulled that off. But again, you want to make sure that you're always prepping that client for what's next, right? during those first couple sessions, like Jack said, they're going to be trusting you more than anybody else in their life right then. So we want to make sure that we're delivering the highest end service during those first initial 2 to 3 weeks. We always want to deliver a high service, but especially those first couple weeks, first couple sessions, you want to make sure that that person knows that they made a good choice. Very much what Jack was saying earlier about buyer's remorse. We want to make sure people are really enjoying what they did and making sure that they're really appreciating what you do. Because you can lose a renewal within the first week.
Yeah.
But you can also get that person as a lifelong client in that first week as well, depending on how well you play it. So again, work your butt off for somebody. If you promise something, over deliver.
Yeah.
From there, we're going to kick it back to Jack here for the last one.
Yeah, so guys, the most important part about all of this, I think, is practice, 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 okay? You have to practice your back end and your logistics, and you have to go over these things over and over and over and over and over again, okay? You're going to practice talking about your pricing. You're going to practice, adding value and adding your add-ons. You're going to practice all your tracking stuff. You're going to practice, practice hiring a bookkeeper. Hopefully you only hire a bookkeeper once. But you're going to practice, bookkeeping good practices, and you're going to be practicing asking for another sale, okay? And then in this whole thing, I need you guys, Rich needs you guys, we need you to practice laying out your consultation process. Now, the best thing that you can do is actually go do one, okay? So we want you to shadow a couple consultation processes. If you have that in your gym, if you are already in a sales environment and there's fellow personal trainers or salespeople, ask those coaches and ask those salespeople if you can just be a fly on the wall and watch how these go. Or if you do not have that, we need you to do a mock consultation, okay? With friends, family, fellow coaches, even the mirror, okay? We want you to practice with your client avatar, okay, going through a consultation process and going through those 7.5-step process and answering questions, delivering the solutions and closing the sale. Now, it can be kind of nerve-wracking, right? The first couple of mock consultations, but trust me guys, it's like any other conversation. If you have one conversation once, you might not know exactly what to talk about, but if you've done it again and again and again and again and again and again and again, like you will as a rockstar coach and consultation closer, you will benefit greatly. So practice your consultation process, practice your tracking, practice your logistics, practice your framework behind the scenes, and you'll have a rockstar business in absolutely no time. I think
so. Last thing I really want to touch on here. Yeah. When it comes down to the practice side of things, I'm just going to share a quick story here.
Yeah, go ahead.
But when I first originally started our sales process here at 360 Fitness, again, I had that wrong mentality of I am a salesman. I am trying to sell this person on what I am offering instead of being an assisted buyer. Over the years, I didn't just become better at sales from sticking to that mentality. I practiced, and I practiced some more. Just like anything else, you have to put the reps in to get the results out. So make sure that we are practicing this as much as possible. And the more comfortable you can get with this right off the bat, the better off you're going to be. And that comes to this whole entire section.
Yeah.
There's a reason that we made this a 5-part section. Yeah. Is because we wanted to make sure that you had the best information possible, but it's only going to be great information if you put it into practice and you try it again and again and again. Find what works for you, find what doesn't work for you, and find a way to work around that. Because again, practice is the only way you're going to get better, and sales is like anything else. You do need to practice it. There's no such thing as a natural salesman. Yeah. You have to go out and put in the work. You have to put in the effort. You have to put in the time.
Yeah, get your reps in, guys. This is super important. Okay, that is part 5 of Intro to Marketing and Business Management. We'll have a lot more content for you guys in the bonuses behind the scenes. And again, if you want to take your sales system to the next level, and if you want to go more in depth into our sales process and how to make sure that you can close 8 or 9 out of 10 people on every single time, I definitely suggest you guys check out our 360 Fitness Consult Sales System. There is a link around here somewhere where you guys get an exclusive offer to join that course for a massive discount, and we can help you out with that course as well. Okay guys, we'll see you on the other side. Bye-bye.